Disney adults. Everyone has at least seen or heard of what a Disney adult is. If you aren't familiar with that term, a Disney adult is basically exactly what it means. It's an adult that is obsessed with Disney, collecting excessive amounts of merch and going to the parks every other week. While there are thousands of them online, one in particular has been singled out. Why? Well, it all has to do with her love for the character Peter Pan. So, who is it? Who is BABYTONI99? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Sophia, and in this video, I'm going to talk about BABYTONI99. She's been going absolutely viral, gaining thousands of followers in just a few days. At a first glance, it's hard to see why she's suddenly blowing up. When you look through her page, all of her content is mainly Disney, and unless there's been a sudden surge of Disney adults, there's no reason for her to be going as viral as she is. However, once you look at her most popular video, it becomes very clear why she's suddenly blowing up. In this viral video, she attempts to give the character Peter Pan a gift. Of course, he reacts in character, and a fun interaction ensues. However, the interaction doesn't stop there. She continues filming him for 5 painfully long minutes, even following him around at times. At one point, he even asks, "Why are you looking at me like that?" Which, okay, that could be interpreted as a fun and in-character line for him, but at the same time, I feel like there's some truth behind it given her history. As this video gained some traction, people started looking into her account and realizing just how long this obsession with Peter Pan has been going on. People discovered that she's been obsessed with Peter Pan for over a decade now, and she's been having this almost parasocial relationship with him for just as long. With this discovery, the video only got more and more popular, with people calling out how weird her treatment of the actors was. This was only stirred up even more when people found a video of Peter Pan supposedly running away from Tony. Now, many people were pointing out that this could be a funny in-character moment for him, which I could see. However, you could definitely see why people would get as riled up as they did. She wasn't acting like these were just actors, she was acting as if this was the real Peter Pan. In many of these videos, she's seen following him around and having these painfully long interactions with him, talking to him as if he were a close friend and not just some actor. She's given him several gifts, all of which she's crocheted herself. There's even videos of her sharing very long, uncomfortable hugs with him several times. What's really strange is that some of these posts involving Peter Pan have a very romantic undertone to them, as if she believes they're meant to be, or as if she believes they're in some sort of relationship. The biggest issue people have with this is how, instead of treating the Peter Pan actors as actors, she is treating them as if they are the real Peter Pan. She doesn't see them as actors in a costume, she sees them as the real thing. She doesn't seem too concerned that they might need to walk around the park and greet other guests. Instead, she insists on following him around and spending all of her time with him. Not only is this weird, but it also prevents the actor from correctly doing his job. By constantly following around Peter Pan with a camera, you put the actor in a very difficult position. Not only does he have to make sure you're happy, especially with a camera in his face, but he also has to go around and make sure all the other guests are happy. He cannot just focus on you. He has to do all of that while putting on an act and not breaking character, even when he's uncomfortable. People were also quick to point out that it is just kind of weird behavior coming from an adult to follow around an actor like this. In my opinion, I don't think Tony is doing this because she's a crazy stalker or because she has malicious intent. I just think that she really loves the character and is misguided in her attempts to express this love. I understand what it's like to love a character so much, I completely get it. However, in a case like Tony's, I feel like someone needs to step in and tell her that this behavior is not okay. It seems like no one is really doing that, and instead they are encouraging her. By filming her interactions with Peter Pan and even laughing at some of the more uncomfortable moments, they are essentially telling her that this behavior is okay and that she can continue with it. I understand that whoever is filming might not see it as something that's that bad, but at the end of the day, it is that bad because it is potentially harming the actors who are playing Peter Pan. It is preventing them from doing their job, which directly affects their livelihood. However, just because I believe that she is misguided does not automatically give her an excuse from her behavior. I still believe that her and whoever is filming her need to be held accountable, especially the person who's filming her for encouraging this kind of behavior. But that's just my take. Now, with this situation comes a lot of misinformation, so much that I don't even know how it got to this point. In an attempt to stir up drama and gain views, people are purposefully lying about her and trying to paint her as some unhinged stalker. And unfortunately, people are falling for it. I'm going to try to clear up some of the misinformation and the rumors that I've seen going around. Now, the first big piece of misinformation that I've seen getting spread around is the AirTag situation. If you've been keeping up with the entire Toni saga, then you might have seen this picture floating around. It is a picture of an AirTag being stuffed into one of the crocheted plushies that Toni has made for one of the Peter Pans. Naturally, this gained a lot of views, causing people to believe that Toni actually did this. However, I'm here to say that this picture is AI. I know it doesn't look like it at first, but when you know what to look for, it becomes very apparent that this is AI. Many people who crochet point out that the area where the plushie has been cut doesn't look right. Some even saying that the yarn doesn't cut that way, which, after looking at it a little more, I agree, it does look a little too clean. Even me, someone who does not crochet, can tell that there's something a little off about it. There's other people pointing out the texture of the AirTag too, saying that it's pretty off. On top of all of this, the colors of the plushie do not match the one in Toni's video. Frankly, it's quite scary how realistic AI is getting. I mean, at a first glance, this does look like a real picture. When I first saw it, I thought it was real because of how realistic it looked. But no, it is not real. It is just a person using this drama for attention and views. Another piece of misinformation that has been going around is this video. Now, this video is one of the more unbelievable ones. When I was watching it, I was actually laughing to myself because of how ridiculous it was. I thought there's no way that people would fall for something like this, right? Well, unfortunately, a lot of people have. But just to come out and state the obvious, this video is not real. All the information in it is completely made up. I don't know why they're trying to paint Toni in such a scary light. There's a lot to be said about Toni's behavior, and there's no need to lie to make it seem worse than it actually is. By doing that, it makes it harder to know what is the truth and what is not. Overall, it does more harm than good. The final piece of misinformation I'm going to be touching on is the whole Peter Pan came out and spoke about Toni rumor. Recently, a man who used to play Peter Pan while working at the Disney parks came out and spoke about his experience working there. He claimed he had a similar situation where a woman would wait for him for hours in the line just to see him. He never addressed Toni by name, and he never even said it was her, but of course people on TikTok automatically assumed that it was, which is simply not true. This video, made by a former Disney employee, is actually very eye-opening and has broadened the conversation to not just be about Toni, but to address the more general treatment of the Disneyland actors. In this video, he talks about how some of the princesses were treated and how they had to deal with constant harassment and even groping from people that came to take pictures with them. Unfortunately, this is not new, as this has always been a thing in Disneyland, and Disney can't do much to prevent it. However, I believe the way they handle it is not the best. You see, Disney does not allow actors to break character at any time when they are performing, even when they are uncomfortable. A reason they don't want actors to break character is because they don't want to ruin the magic for the kids and they don't want to break the immersion. However, my issue is, if it's a grown adult that is clearly being inappropriate with an actor, I feel like that actor or actress has the right to tell them to stop. When you're an adult, you clearly know that these aren't the real Disney princesses. You know that these are just actresses. So it wouldn't be immersion breaking to have a princess to tell you to stop, because the immersion was never there. In the end, while I do feel like some scrutiny is warranted, I feel like people really need to take a step back and stop spreading all of this misinformation. They're making it even scarier and bigger than it actually is, and it's not doing any good. I also feel like whoever is filming her really needs to step in and say, hey, this is not okay. Again, I don't feel like she's doing this out of malicious intent. She clearly loves going to the parks and seeing Peter Pan. She just doesn't know what is appropriate, and someone needs to tell her. At least, that's what I think. Now, before I end this video, I do want to give a shout out to artist Clover Bites on YouTube for making me my first ever piece of fan art. Guys, I'm just in love with this drawing. I think it is the cutest thing ever, and it makes me so happy that someone actually went out of their way to do this. please, please, please go show him some love and support. Go subscribe. Their art is very, very good. Also, on the topic of fan art, I've seen a lot of people in my comments asking if it's okay to draw me and make me fan art, and I just want to say yes, it is absolutely okay. I'm completely fine with it. I was actually thinking of adding a little fan art section to the end of my videos, so if you want to make some fan art and have me feature it in the end of my videos, just make your art and then post it on YouTube and tag me, and I'll try to include it in my videos. Of course, I'm gonna give you a little shout out, I'll give you credit. So if that sounds like something you'd want to do, go right ahead. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!